look, we saw this chef go down for how he treated an influencer, but this is so much more than being nice to people and the ego of a chef who hates content creators. There's a lot more to unpack here. But before we do that, I'm Neysa. I'm the founder of Ginger and Care Productions. Alongside my partner, we help brands tell their stories through content, videography, long format conversations, and photography, like this awesome book, My Creole Cali Kitchen, sold everywhere books are sold, featured in Bon Appetit and Epicurious. We've worked with dozens of CPG and small businesses to really help them craft a narrative that is authentic to them and resonates with their audience through our creative projects. And in this series, The Inner Work of Branding, I'm going to break down how branding is so much more than content, so much more than colors, fonts, graphics, and all of these other visual means that we see at the surface level. Branding is inner work, and it intersects with culture, identity, and our belief systems. And when you see companies and institutions get it wrong, it's because there's something about their belief system that isn't resonating with their audience. So let's talk about it. We saw Kis Cafe go through it. And this influencer, who at the time had 5,000 followers, wasn't trying to come for anybody. She was genuinely just talking to her people. 5,000 people, that's a small group of people, right? It's activated. I would love 5,000 followers, but it's not worry about your safety visibility, right? It's a safe set of people who champion what you do and who are probably tapped into the local community at that level. She goes to this restaurant. The chef is like, you don't have enough followers. You don't even know who I am. You didn't do your research. I'm a James Beard nominated chef. You don't even know anything about food. And I don't know why you're here, in so many words. Now, we can talk about why she didn't do her research upon coming in, but how she was treated was unacceptable. However, I've worked in hospitality for a decade at this point. Most of my clients are chefs. Most of my clients are restaurateurs or sell food to people on the shelf. And what I know about hospitality is there's some backwards thinking going on when it comes to the role that content creators play and their ability to be understood as a brand. We are losing the entire plot when we say that this was about ego, when what this really is a resentment that's going on in the food world. Let me explain. Most chefs come up through a very specific path. They go to culinary school, and if they can't afford culinary school, they work in kitchens from dishwasher up. They cook on the line. What do I mean by the line? They are on those grills, those commercial stoves that you're scared to turn on because you don't see fires like that if it's not camping outside, right? Working 16-hour days, cranking out dish after dish after dish, back-breaking work. And on top of that, doing so in a toxic environment, mainly filled with functional addicts, emotional abusers, physical abusers, some of them predators, right? Let's keep it a buck. The restaurant industry is notoriously brutal. There is a reason why we are not known for sustainability, okay? And now content creating has created another avenue. Now, first of all, restaurants are not the be all and end all to a career in food, right? It started with media. We have those cooking shows, started with pioneers like Julia Child and Martha Stewart, Bobby Flay, Chef Gordon Ramsay, and so on and so on. And then when things got digital, things got interesting. Now you can, me, you, anybody can share our at-home recipes, right? Now you, me, or anybody can go to a restaurant and decide, I'm gonna review this food. Look at somebody like Keith Lee. He does not know a motherfucking thing about food. All he knows is what he likes. And his values and his personality and belief systems resonated so much that he built such a powerful platform. If that man walks through your door and you are not infrastructurally ready for that, get ready, right? That is what the digital media world has provided, right? What does that mean for a chef that came up on the line? What does that mean for a restaurateur that did it the slow, difficult way that most people in the industry respect? That means that we've got to figure out a way to integrate the reality of a digital world in building a company now. That anger that this chef had was so much deeper than the frustration of this influencer not knowing who he is, and a frustration towards the broader industry and a change that's happening that a lot of restaurateurs are in a huge resistance to. I even had clients who, they hired us to go on and film content every single month to manage their social media. But guess what? They didn't want to be filmed. Every time we set out a content day where they would be talking, and I knew that those videos would do so well for them or go viral for them or really remind their audience that they're there, they would back out, change, have a staff member do it, or just not do it at all. And it made it really challenging for us because we had to always basically have our idea that we were going to do and 2 backup ideas in case they just didn't want to be filmed. People have an aversion to being visible in this way because they see content creating as inherently problematic. They see content creating as something that they shouldn't have to do. I shouldn't have to do my business and be a personal brand. I shouldn't have to do my business and turn around and talk about my business. But that way of thinking is, first of all, it's frustrating because that's never not been true. It's never not been true. Even before the internet, you had to do the thing and talk about the thing. How that looks is different, right? Now it's not just doing a little segment on the news and putting in the newspaper and sending paper mailers out. Now we have our phones. Now we have our computers. And whether you like it or not, that democratizes content. That democratizes who can build a platform, and that's a good thing. Because before, your restaurant had to be in a high traffic area and that was the only shot you had. You had to have that word of mouth or have that celebrity presence. That was the only shot you had. Now you can reach people digitally. Now you can tell people your story. Now you can scale yourself without a crew. And I think that's amazing. And while it might be frustrating to figure out how to encapsulate yourself in an authentic way and share it at mass, why it might be frustrating to think, oh my God, I already perform over here. Now I have to perform over here. We're asking the wrong questions. It's not how do I perform more? It's how do I show up as myself? Because the easiest thing to be is myself. Easiest thing to be. And if I can be myself, then it's not going to be work to show up online. It's just being myself, and I'm myself all the time. But when we're so used to the conditioning, when we're so used to who we were told we had to be successful, anything that disrupts that is going to piss us off. And I think that that's what happened here. I don't know another chef and restaurateur who doesn't share his frustrations. I don't know another chef or restaurateur who hates the fact that people don't know that who you are and what you've done and what your contributions are. How will they know if you don't tell them? How will they know if you're not singing your song and telling your story over and over and over again? That's your job. You're going to have to do that. At the beginning of every video, what do? I tell my story, right? And that's not my whole story, but that's the part that you need to know so you understand why I have an informed opinion, so that you understand I know what I'm talking about. Every single time, right? Coca-Cola doesn't let us forget that Coca-Cola is out here selling Coca-Cola, and you are no different. And that's what's going on with this whole thing. And while I don't necessarily think that he deserved to lose his entire job, but I think that this is something that we can all learn from and grow from. not only, hey, careful because this could be a viral moment, but on a bigger level than that is like, what is it about your industry that you're resenting? And what does it really say about you and how your brand is perceived? That's the work that's got to be done.